The other Ryan.
And for real estate, visit their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest in studio this morning is Mr. Adam Ibbotson, Superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools. Good morning, Mr. Ibbotson. Doing well. Let me fix up your mic here real fast. See if I can't. Got turned off on me there. There we go. Let's try that. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Seth. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Sorry about that. I should have checked that before we went on. But anyways, thanks for coming up and talking with us this morning. And you're a couple of school board meetings into your tenure at Maroa. How's it going?
Really good. Really supportive Board of Education, really supportive community, really supportive teachers and staff. They've been really great as I've stepped into the role, and I've appreciated that a lot. We've had some really... just been really good to meet as many people and how good the community is at Maroa-Forsyth. Yep. So recently finished our September board meeting where we had our budget hearing and approved a budget, looking at healthy fund balances and positive balances moving forward.
Sure.
Moving forward with several different projects and pieces in the district as well. But things are going really well.
Good to hear. Well, let's start with that budget piece, if you don't mind. A positive budget. What's so positive about it?
I just think, Maroa-Forsyth are places that people want to move to. There's growth in both of those communities, seeing an increase in those homes and businesses that are coming into those places. So that contributes to that positive EAV growth that we have. And, our school facilities, our staff, and people that are involved, I think that just all pays off in the round. So it is a place that people want to move to, and that growth is really encouraging.
Tell me a little bit about the budget. Where does a lot of the revenue for Maroa-Forsyth schools come from? Where does it all kind of end up in your budget? How about some of those things?
Salary and benefits and people. That's a big chunk of the budget. So the people make it work. It's about people and not programs. So funding the teachers, the staff, taking care of student needs, and all the things that go with that. There's a lot of working parts for the district to work, and a big chunk of that budget goes to those salaries and benefits and those pieces to help fund and do the day-to-day work of the district.
Sure. Maroa's got a lot of really nice things that people drive by your schools and they see. How is all of that possible? And, you talk about the academics and the success and everything that you're walking into. How is all of that possible?
It's a really supportive community. They passed a referendum to build the middle school previously, which that building is beautiful and those facilities are there. The community supports our kids, whether it be through time, effort, attendance. It's really amazing to see how supportive they really are. So you see that community support. People come to Maroa-Forsyth for the schools. That's a big draw there. And the facilities and the opportunities are for kids, thanks to the taxpayers, thanks to the people of Maroa-Forsyth for helping to provide that.
I don't know if you're doing budgeting for the first time, but you're doing budgeting for the first time in Maroa. Speak to what you're learning about the district, about budgeting. How about some of those things?
So stepping into the first year superintendency, I have Leo Johnson. He is a part-time chief financial officer helping me. He has been in the district for a few years now. I think this is his 8th year that he's been helping out. So learning the budget process, learning about cash flow projections, seeing where money comes in and out and where those expenditures go. That's really been an eye-opener for me as I get to know the district, to know where those revenue sources are, look at where we're spending money at, and then prioritizing students as we go forward with that.
What are you learning about the revenue sources in Maroa?
I think, the tax base is strong. The businesses are strong. It's a place where the schools are well funded. So I'm appreciative of that. Property taxes contribute a big chunk of that for our district.
Sure.
We do well financially there, and that supports the product that you get to see at the schools, the kids that we turn out, the facilities, and all those things that add to a great educational experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure relying on those local revenues versus the state revenue. I don't know what the state revenues have been like lately, but
Sure.
I venture a guess that local piece is more reliable than that state piece.
And depending on the district, with the evidence-based funding formula that's been put into place in the state of Illinois, that's kind of leveled the playing field across the place in terms of money that gets allocated. There's 4 different tiers of funding that goes through the state of Illinois, and Maroa is more reliant on local property taxes because we have an adequacy level that's pretty strong. So we do have some state funding, but a lot of it, a lion's share, is from those local property taxes that come in.
How about the property tax rate in Maroa? How does it compare to districts not only your size but in the area?
Pretty well mid-pack in terms of the district. and I haven't looked at all of the most recent data about where we're going to be at for the next levy, but, definitely middle of the pack to the upper part of it. They do a really good job of maintaining that tax rate in the last referendum. That was one thing that the board pledged to people, is to keep that tax rate kind of in that 450 mark around the way. And the board has held true to that throughout even the construction phases.
Sure. Anything else on budget, Mr. Ibbotson, we haven't touched on?
Nope, just pleased at the direction we're moving forward. Excited about kind of looking at the next step of strategic planning for the district and plotting the next course with that. So this budget's one of the first big hurdles to get out of the way in superintendency, and next step is the tax levy.
Well, let's dive into some of the projects that are going on now. I guess I didn't realize or didn't even think that maybe there are projects going on in school year. So how about some of those?
There's just a few things that we've been working to try to finish up exterior-wise with the middle school build. We had some concrete work that we needed to get done around some of the curbing in the area around the new parking lot. We also increased a sidewalk space around the football field area and on the visitor side to stop kind of rocks and different things getting on the track that was causing a problem. Also makes for a better experience of just navigating, not being in the grass in those locations. So that's been a big project that we've got done this summer. We also completed a major renovation of window replacements at the high school. Replaced all the windows there and shades. We also installed more efficient lighting with LED lighting pieces all throughout the grade school and the high school to try to help with cost savings for energy, to be better stewards of that. So that was a project that was completed this summer. We're also continuing on with the landscaping project at the grade school. It hadn't been really updated since they built the building. So excited to see that. That's being done right now. So excited about that project. We have some other things in the works for some maintenance with the high school. We're coming up on 20 years for the high school, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, that is hard to believe. Wow.
Thinking about like health, life, and safety, and looking at a overview of that, looking at roof health, looking at all those pieces, because we'll need to maintain those.
Sure.
So those are some of the projects and things we're working on.
Well, I'll tell you what, you walk into a well put together district in terms of its facilities. I mean, top of the line, new all the way across the board, it feels like.
And that's been a priority of the district. I think a priority of the taxpayer, a priority of the communities, and the facilities that we have are really impressive. And, they are impressive, but the people are just as impressive as the facilities are, just making it all go. For sure.
So facilities is the top of mind here for sure. Mr. Ibbotson, when was your, by the way, Board of Education meeting? When does your board meet?
Third Monday, so it was the 16th of September. Yeah.
Okay. So anything else out of the board meeting from your perspective of those?
No, typical business we've been doing, just moving forward with the business of the district. The budget was the major topic that we were discussing that night.
How long do your board meetings last, if you don't mind me asking?
We were in regular session probably about an hour or so, hour and a half usually. That's typical. I've only done 3 so far, but that's kind of where we're at so far with the board meetings.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Ibbotson, rather than start a new topic, I want to take a break because you've got a really neat Teacher Institute Day coming up, and you're going to have a lot of opportunities for your staff. So before diving into that, having to cut it off in the middle, let's break and we'll come back, talk about it. Where do folks go to follow along with all things Maroa-Forsyth Schools?
Feel free to follow our district Facebook page. That's linked together that you can see. We also have a really nice website that directs people to calendars at mfschools.net. That's a great place to find information on that front page as well.
Mr. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools, our guest in studio today. More to come with him on the morning show.
WHOW. LFB.org. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all higher. December corn up 9 1/4, 4.11. March corn up 9, 4.29. May corn 4.39 3/4, up 8 3/4. November beans up 26 1/4, 10.38 1/4. January beans up 25 3/4, 10.55 1/4. March beans up 24 3/4, 10.68 1/2. December wheat up 14 1/2, 5.83. March wheat up 14, 601 1/2. October bean meal 323.10, that's up 570. October bean oil 43.45, up $1.29. Livestock market also higher. September feeders up 17 cents, 245 even. October live cattle up 90 cents, 183.37. October lean hogs 82.30, up 7 cents. Energy market, November crude oil 71.78, up 78 cents. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
The annual Clinton Apple and Pork Festival to benefit the DeWitt County Museum C.H. Moore Homestead is this Saturday and Sunday on the Homestead grounds on Business Highway 51 on Clinton's north side. Tour the museum and enjoy the over 30 food booths that are operated by local nonprofit groups to support their efforts throughout the year. The entire community gets involved with events on the square and all over town. Come to Clinton this Saturday and Sunday for a step back in time and tune in to the Big 1520 across central Illinois, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and 106.5 FM in McLean County. WHOW all weekend for expanded coverage. Brought to you by Trucks Plus in Clinton, your number one trusted source for window tint and quality aftermarket vehicle accessories.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Mr. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools and joins us in studio today. And Mr. Ibbotson, we teased on the way out an opportunity in October for your staff to have some really good people speak with them that day for a Teacher Institute. What's going on there?
So we're having a Maroa-Forsyth Teachers Institute on October the 10th. There's no student attendance on that Thursday the 10th and no student attendance there that Friday the 11th or that Monday for Columbus Day. So kind of a break there for students. But the staff, I'm really excited about an institute we're bringing on the 10th. It's a full-day institute where we've got a variety of speakers that are coming into the district, and teachers will be allowed to kind of work and navigate through some of those sessions. Mm-hmm. We're trying to find pieces for each of the different areas that are relevant for them, and it's really a broad variety of topics. For example, TRS is coming in and talking to the different Tier 1 and Tier 2 employees about the retirement pieces and what does that look like for them and planning for that. We also have people coming in from the athletic side. Craig Anderson is coming in from the IHSA, and he's going to talk about extracurriculars and IHSA events. We also have people coming in to talk about behavior challenges, how we can work with challenging students, what we can do to meet their needs. There's reading topics, artificial intelligence topics, benchmarking and working with student data is a part of it. We also have team building exercises during the morning. Staff are going to rotate through that. We've also brought in from O'Fallon Township High School, their marching band director is coming up and putting on a 3-hour in-service for our vocal and instrumental music teachers. We've also opened that up to different teachers in the ROE if they want to come, because sometimes it's hard to find music professional development. She will come up and just spend the morning with our band and vocal music people. We also are bringing in a representative from the Illinois Art Teachers Association as well, and they're going to do a professional development just for our art teachers. And again, we've expanded that out with Jill Reedy's help with the ROE to let people come in and register from other districts to do that. So we're not going to have something for everybody necessarily, but I think we're hitting a lot of those pieces because in order to maintain high-achieving schools, there has to be strong professional development. And it's got to be relevant. It's got to be tied to things that are happening. And our administrative team at Maroa-Forsyth has done a great job of finding speakers, finding interest pieces, and we've got that schedule ready to go. And I'm excited at that on the morning of the 10th. That afternoon, we'll actually go. We've been talking a lot about school safety and security as well. So we had our district school security meeting with local first responders in Macon County and Maroa and Forsyth, and just talked about our emergency plans. And that was Wednesday prior to the threats that happened in Macon County that were out there. And just meeting and having that relationship with our first responders is so important for them to know our plans, them to be a part of those plans and what's happening. We're meeting with representatives and with our staff to talk more about those plans, and if we ever would need to reunify with staff or students, we're working with that as well that afternoon. So appreciate that opportunity to meet with them. I've offered to our district parents that are law enforcement officials or first responders, if they want to come and take a tour of our facilities. and go through our plans. They've got to bring a badge and identification to show that they are a law enforcement officer or a first responder. But we're going to take a tour of the high school, the middle school, and the grade school.
Yeah.
Just walk through the facilities, check those out, talk about our safety plans, because they need to be partners in this. They have kids in the district. I think it's important to create that partnership and that bridge between those people as well.
No question. And I just got the light bulb just kind of went off in my head as a first-year superintendent. Boy, I bet that safety planning is probably one of the first things you prioritize in your learning about the district.
And I think walking into it, there's been a really good foundation set. Mr. Stewart's done a great job of kind of spearheading a lot of that as the high school principal, and then getting people trained. I was fortunate to do some trainings with our administrative staff even before I took the job back in the spring. Being familiar with that plan and now kind of moving to that next step about implementing some of those things. But the safety plans are important. What we're doing to protect students and staff, that's our number one priority. So
Yeah.
I've appreciated that for sure.
Now, is this effort an Adam Ibbotson-led thing? Who kind of spearheaded this, this October 10th professional development piece?
So we had done something like this at Williamsville in my previous district when I did some curriculum work, K-12, and did some professional development work. And it kind of expanded out from being just a Williamsville thing to where eventually several schools in the ROE in Springfield had done it. So I had experience planning it. I brought it up to our administrative team whenever I first took the job, like, hey, I'd really like to do this. They had passed the calendar to have this day, and my administrative team took the idea, ran with it, have found the speakers, have helped set it up, and they've done a great job finding relevant topics for all of our staff.
Yeah. Well, and you hit on it earlier. Professional development, just for the sake of the seminar, doesn't really do a whole lot of people any good. But if you give them relevant information, it gets people probably fired up and excited about what the opportunity could hold.
I think it's a really nice opportunity to have a chance to hear people from outside of our school, a broad variety of topics, to help them pick and have some ownership in what they want to go see, because there'll be 7 to 8 different sessions in the morning each time. So thinking about all the speakers, having some ownership in that, and you kind of getting to direct your own personal learning, there's some empowerment in that too, that you get to pick things that are relevant for you, not only as a teacher, but hey, retirement's a big deal. Am I close to that round, or where am I at with this? I think those are important topics for people to hear about.
No question. Well, Mr. Ibbotson, anything else on that October 10th opportunity we didn't touch on you want to put out there for us?
No, just a reminder that we don't have school on the 10th for students. There's no student attendance on the 11th, and then on that Monday for Columbus Day, no student attendance as well.
Nice. How
So
do
kind
I?
of like a mini fall break almost.
I was just
Seth.
going to say,
Yeah.
well, how do I enroll at Maroa-Forsyth schools so I can, get that time off that you
Yeah,
guys
I don't
have?
know. Like, buy a single family lot, look for a place to prove residency, and we can talk.
That seems like a lot to do between now and October 10th, but maybe we
sure.
can make it happen. No, but in all seriousness, you also have some other things going on in October. What else is happening in your district?
Yeah, we're just working forward with parent-teacher conferences coming up here the second week of October. They're kind of split up differently in how the grade school, middle school, and high school will work. Like I said earlier, we're really fortunate to have a really involved set of parents, a really involved community. I would just encourage them to take that opportunity when their teacher reaches out, when the buildings reach out, to take an opportunity, even if your kid's doing just fine. It's important to make that connection with your classroom teacher. It's important to make that connection with your high school teacher, your middle school teacher, because we really want to partner with you at home to help your kid be able to really cultivate all their talents and really utilize them to the best of their ability.
One thing I appreciate about Clinton Schools, having my kids in the district here, is the communication, like just consistent communication between teacher and parent, administration and community, those sorts of things. Speak to what you've seen, how that goes in Maroa and where that's at.
I feel like communication in terms of from the district level is important, like when we were dealing with some of those security pieces and sending information out. But even on the day-to-day pieces of when kids have tests or quizzes, parents are being notified or things are going to know about that. Like our administrators put out a lot of information about upcoming dates and pieces. Classroom teachers do a great job with communicating with parents, letting them to make sure they're in the know of things. That communication has to happen because we're all vested in a common goal. That's helping kids. So I think that communication is really strong in the district, and I think one of my roles is to help facilitate that to be even stronger.
Very good. Well, Mr. Ibbotson, I've got about a minute and a half left here with you this morning. Anything we haven't touched on today going on in your schools you want to talk about?
We've had a lot of success here this fall with a lot of our programs and things. I attended Central Illinois CEO today at the Clinton Library, which is awesome. Our marching band swept a contest in their class at Monticello a couple weeks ago. Cool. We've got baseball regionals for the middle school. They're playing today. They're one of the top seeds. Our softball team moved on and did well as well. Made it to the regionals, won a game there. So football's doing well.
Yeah. When is homecoming in Maroa?
So we had to move homecoming. It was supposed to be this week.
Okay.
We had to move it to the last game of the year because Riverton ended up canceling their varsity football program.
Oh, wow.
So as of right now, as we speak, we don't have a game. We have a faint hope of maybe of a possibility, but right now it's looking like that may not be the case.
Oh my
so
goodness.
We're looking on alternative plans about what to do for Friday. But homecoming and senior night will all be the last week of the season versus New Berlin, and that'll all be together.
How does that impact, what you had planned for the week and, kind of those extracurricular things?
One of the first things I did as superintendent is we had to look at this realization that we might not have a game, and we had to make alternative plans and move the homecoming date. So we did that, and we've been planning accordingly till then, and then we've got plans thinking about what Friday will look like for our community, to still have an event for people, but also knowing it's disappointing not to have a football game.
No question, that is disappointing. Well, Mr. Ibbotson, always good to talk with you. Thanks for making time for us. That is Mr. Adam Ibbotson, Superintendent of Maroa-Forsyth Schools.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton 90.